Oh god. Guys, I gotta be honest. Sometimes I do hop on Twitter and I'm in the middle of work or I'm in the middle of class, or better yet, sometimes I'm chilling on the couch, watching TV, eating some food, relaxing, and I open my phone to Twitter and I see leaks for MW2 and or Warzone 2, and I just read it, and inside I'm like, Fooly, just don't say anything. Just stop thinking right now. Don't pay attention to Call of Duty right now. Just relax. We know what you want to do, just don't do it. And that tension and that passion starts building up more and more and more. And then the inner scadmaster in me says, nah, get on the mic, say how you truly feel. If people don't agree with your opinion, just say something stupid to them back in the comments. And that's usually what I do. So this situation is no different. Guys, I got on Twitter earlier today after work, relaxing on the couch like I said. I open up Twitter, I see Tom Henderson had tweeted something. I go and take a look. This man says, "It looks like the original Warzone will continue to receive updates/DLC. Warzone will be renamed to Warzone Caldera on November 28th by the launch of Warzone 2. Then he goes on to say, knowing the community, everyone will hate Warzone 2 and play the original. And that's one of the things that really gets the fire going inside of me, because this is one of those sentiments that people have all the time where they say, oh, you just hate on the new COD because it's a cool thing to do, and then you go play the old one that you used to hate. Dumb shit, alright? That doesn't apply to the Scadmaster. Never once have I actually done that. And when I'm playing MW 2019 right now, understand that it's because the MW 2019 Part 2 beta comes out in a couple of weeks, and I'm simply preparing myself. That's all it is. But I digress. That tweet just got the passion flowing inside of me, and so here I am. Now, some of you guys might genuinely be wondering, Fooly, who cares if Warzone 1 is still gonna get updates and DLC? Why the flying fuck is this bad news for Call of Duty as a whole? Well, let me just tell you guys. I come from the era of Call of Duty where things made sense and things were enjoyable. Even though they were simple, much more simplified, things were a lot more basic, it was the most enjoyable time of Call of Duty's history. This is back in the golden era of COD. I came in about Black Ops 1. Incredibly enjoyable game. That was one of my favorite CODs of all time, and it was very simple. We had multiplayer, we had campaign, both of those were incredibly solid, and then we had a fantastic third game mode, which was zombies. In the original Modern Warfare series, the actual good one, we had Spec Ops, which was actually very enjoyable. MW2 Spec Ops was incredible. MW3 Spec Ops with survival and those game modes, incredible. And even, I can give a shout out to Call of Duty Ghost. Extinction was actually super underrated in my opinion. But again, 3 basic game modes, and each one was heavily populated. People were enjoying all of it. Nowadays, we do have a third game mode, and sometimes it's just a complete miss. Vanguard Zombies, Horse Piss, MW 2019 Spec Ops, complete dumpster juice gooch sweat. But not only that, you guys need to understand that I'm a heavily multiplayer centered person. I love multiplayer. Multiplayer is really my bread and butter, and I know a lot of people can agree with that. When Warzone came out, it almost felt like a completely different franchise, a completely different game had come out. It just felt like the two communities, Warzone and multiplayer, were completely divided. And I understand that it had the same engine at first, and everything actually did interconnect, but then, as many of you guys know, there began to be a heavy disconnect between Warzone and Warzone content and multiplayer with our content, with our updates, with our DLC, and sometimes it just didn't match. Now, some of you guys might actually forget about this, but this happened throughout MW 2019. I would say maybe a little halfway through the game, maybe Season 4 or Season 5, you really started noticing how much more the devs were catering to Warzone than to multiplayer content. Happened in Black Ops Cold War, the exact same thing. Our content for multiplayer in Cold War really started dwindling as time went on, and Warzone started getting even more content, which is fine for them, but as a multiplayer, I didn't really enjoy that. Then comes Vanguard, and Vanguard's just a complete shit show regardless of what would have happened, but it's essentially the exact same shit. We're getting 2 maps and an entire 2.5 month long season. It wasn't very ideal. Meanwhile, Warzone was getting all of these crazy events, all of these crazy challenges, map changes, map rotations, entirely new maps even. Meanwhile, Vanguard got the short end of the stick, and it wouldn't have even made a difference if it hadn't been that way, because that game just overall sucked complete cock. But fast forward now, we have MW2 just around the corner, Warzone 2 just around the corner, and I can make a pretty good guess as to why Warzone 1 is still going to be updated and still going to have DLC. Actually, hold on, let me rephrase this. I understand why it would still get updates. I don't really understand why it would get DLC though. Regardless, I think this is bad for the Call of Duty franchise, specifically for all of the multiplayer fans, because this is something that we've seen happen time and time again with all of the last 3 titles. The games start off relatively hot, right? They're not too bad at first, and then once we start getting to that midway point, you really start seeing the difference between Warzone content in the season and multiplayer content in that same season. Now remember how I said back in the day we only divided the player count by 3, right? We had campaign, multiplayer, and then whatever the third mode is. Now we have that again because the third mode is going to be DMZ, and so you can imagine DMZ is going to get a lot of support because a lot of people are hyped up for it, which is fine. But then add in Warzone 2, and when Warzone 2 comes out, I really want everybody to pay attention to what happens to the multiplayer of MW2, regardless if you enjoy the game or not. Again, based off of the leaks, it doesn't seem like it's my cup of tea already. It just seems like MW 2019 Part 2, and it doesn't really seem like something I would enjoy. You know, I'm not too big of a fan of cock and ball torture. Now, some of you guys might be, but I'm not. And so when Warzone 2 inevitably does come out, if it comes out and it's actually successful, which again, you know, that's kind of good, but for the multiplayer fans, that could genuinely spell disaster for us. But with this news that Warzone 1 is staying on and there's going to be updates, which is okay, but the fact that there's going to be DLC for it still, and by the sounds of it, it's going to be supported on a different length than MW2 and Warzone 2, all of a sudden we just split the fan base into like 5, right? We have campaign, multiplayer, DMZ, Warzone 1, and Warzone 2. I personally feel like a lot of resources might be taken away from MW2's creation and development post-launch. Now that's not confirmed and nobody's actually insinuating that, but as somebody who's been playing since Black Ops 1 and I actually got to see what the player base felt like and what the community overall enjoyed, you know, back when multiplayer was at the top of the fucking food chain, and now it's not. Now the landscape has changed a little bit. Multiplayer is no longer on top, and I think a lot of fans don't even understand that's happening. Warzone is absolutely on top, and with Warzone 1 staying, I assume it's because a lot of people are going to miss out on their skins and, you know, they bought all their bundles, and maybe there's a little bit better support for old gen on PS4 and Xbox One. I assume that's the reason for keeping Warzone 1, but the implication it brings is that we're going to be dividing the pie by a shit ton, and again, I'm only going based off of prior experience. Once Warzone really starts taking off again, because it inevitably will, multiplayer might be left in the dust again, and with a multiplayer that we need to be playing for 2 years straight, that could be a genuine problem. Now, I hope that it doesn't turn out like this. Again, I want you guys to understand that I hope I am wrong with majority of my assessments of what I'm seeing with these leaks. I would say like 90% of the leaks that I've seen for MW2 and Warzone 2 don't sound good to me, and that's just my opinion. That's the way I feel, but for somebody who likes to analyze as much as he does, I hope Warzone 1 and Warzone 2 are both healthy, the same way I want MW2's multiplayer to be extremely healthy, especially for 2 years straight, and I don't want them to divide the resources or the care. You know, by season 6 of MW2, I don't want to see us getting 2 maps only, and then Warzone getting a shit ton of new content. That's not something that I enjoy seeing as a multiplayer fan. Now, there is a chance that everything here can coexist in harmony and everybody's being well fed and everybody's being catered to in their respective game mode. But again, over the last 3 years, we've seen the exact opposite of that. And now that we're splitting Warzone into 2, I just don't have a good feeling about this. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right. Please, fucking COD gods, I want to be wrong. Scatmaster does not like being right. I've been right too many times and I don't like it. Look guys, like I said before, this isn't confirmed and this doesn't necessarily mean everything that I just said, but on the 90% chance that I'm right, I would like to do something in advance. I would like to tell Activision, on behalf of all multiplayer fans, in advance, coming in the future, fuck you. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Do you think if Warzone 1 is still being supported and Warzone 2 comes out soon, do you think it'll cause issues for MW2's multiplayer? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos, and yeah guys, it's been the Scadmaster. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out this shit.
It's been a very long time since the weekend. It's been a very